Dear Beautiful, 1 month ago today, I took a drive for Father's Day dinner. My dad spent his night playing in the casino, but as it turns out, I was the big winner. I spent that night on my phone, and you were the cutest one nearby. We got to talking, and I knew something was different about you right there that night. The next day, I asked you out, and we made plans of meeting in the middle the following weekend. That night, you asked if we can video call because you were afraid I wasn't real, and I was afraid you were too good to be true. For the record, I still think you are far too good to be true, but I'm quite happy now, being the luckiest man on earth. 2 days later, you called and asked if we can move up our first date to that very night. You got off work early, and I rushed around the house to get ready so I can look nice for you. We took the drive, and I remember that first hug as soon as you saw me in the Boscov's doorway. I knew in that moment we were beginning to write the first page of what was to become a very long fairy tale. We talked about your job, your hopes and dreams, and I shared with you mine as we walked around the mall and looked at all the cute puppies at the pet store. We ate at a place called Bonanza, and we found out butterscotch on chicken is a great combination. Who knew? Then we toured the city and got lost on the back roads as you held my hand and showed me more affection than I've ever felt in my life. During our bowling game, we put up rainbows on the scoreboard and we made a bet. The winner gets a kiss from the other at the end of the night to end our perfect date. Sure enough, in that Boscov's parking lot as I was dropping you off, you kissed me for the first time ever, and it made me the happiest man alive. Now see, I've heard of fireworks going off during a first kiss, but for me, that first kiss made the rest of the world just melt away. A few days later, I went to your apartment for the first time, and we took a long walk around your city. You held my hand as we walked along the riverside. As we walked on the pavement beside the road, you stood on the side of the pavement closest to the road because you wanted to protect me from cars. You watched out for me whenever there was a bump in the pavement I could trip on because I was so focused on our conversation, you knew I wasn't paying attention to the ground below us. That night, we watched movies and mostly just talked to each other all night long until the morning light. Eventually, when you fell asleep, your eyelashes fluttered with dreams. I stayed up for a little while longer staring at your beautiful face as you breathed that tiny little snore, and I fell asleep in your arms. In the morning, I woke up with a kiss from you, and that was the moment I knew I wanted to wake up next to you every morning for the rest of my life. But soon, we got out of bed and you made us delicious French toast. Get yourself a man who knows how to cook, they say. Well, I did. We stopped at a Dunkin' Donuts so you can get an iced coffee. Decaf with Splenda, mocha, and skim milk. I'll never forget. We took a long walk around a lake and sat on a park bench for the longest time, having the deepest of conversations. In our whole relationship, there has never been an awkward moment in our conversations. It always feels so natural, and like I'm talking to my best friend who I've known my entire life, even though we spend an hour or two on the phone every single night, which I adore. After a few tacos for dinner that night, I went back home, and it was the longest drive I've ever had to make, because I knew each mile was taking me farther and farther from my home. I don't think my home is surrounded by 4 walls and a roof anymore. My home is there, curled up in your arms, with my head resting on your shoulder, hearing your heartbeat, and my hand across your chest. That is what is home to me now. A few days later, I was doing a live stream to send off an amazing Pride Month for my students. You woke up at 6 a.m. that morning, worked a long shift at work, and still decided to stay up until midnight just so you can watch my show and support me and everything I do. You were there in the comments, being supportive as I sang love songs and told everyone how amazing you are. But then some stranger insulted my weight, and you jumped in to call me gorgeous right away. Another student asked a question about coming out, and right away you jumped in to offer them advice. It was in those 2 hours when I knew how supportive you were of my dreams and my career, helping LGBTQ kids. And it was in those 2 hours when I realized I couldn't hold back from saying I love you any longer. The next day, you surprised me with a phone call and invited me back to the same mall so we can see each other again after work. We ended up going to a nice restaurant where you came across the table to take a picture of us together. You leaned down and whispered in my ear, "I love you." Sure, you might have been the first to say it out loud, but I wanted to scream it from the mountaintops in reply to you. For the record, I'm deeply sorry that I've said those 3 words wrong 3 times in my life, back when I was young and didn't know how much those words meant. I never realized what the words "I love you" meant until I met you. But now that I realize what those words truly mean, you can guarantee I'm going to use them every day to remind you of how much I love you more. I may not ever be deserving of a man as amazing, sweet, funny, kind, and loving as you are, but I'm going to do my best, and hopefully karma is kind to me. After dinner that Wednesday night, we went to get ice cream and see A Quiet Place movie. You held me in your arm in the middle of a crowded theater, not afraid if others saw, "We are in love." Every time the monster in the movie appeared on screen, I felt your arm pull me in closer and keep me protected from the scary parts. I've felt your lips kiss the top of my head as the movie ended and the credits started to roll. But yet again, saying goodnight and driving away from you was the hardest part of the night. The following weekend, you spent 4 days at my house celebrating my 29th birthday. That half-an-hour drive to my nephew's birthday party was quite long and hard.
That's what she said!
But you kept me company around all the strangers and child conversations at my 5-year-old nephew's birthday party. You made an amazing impression on my family members and all of our friends. And you even mended a relationship between one of them and I, which is a relationship you didn't know was strained. You sat next to me as I blew out the candles on my birthday cake. And for the record, I want you sitting there for every birthday from now on. On my birthday, I got to wake up next to the man of my dreams. And that's a dream I've been wishing for as I blew out the candles every year on my birthday since I was 11 years old. So in that moment on my 29th birthday, I genuinely didn't know what to wish for, blowing out my candles. All of my dreams seemed to be coming true, and it's all thanks to one amazing man. So I just wished that this love between you and I would never go away. The day after, we again stopped at Dunkin' Donuts for the 100th time for an iced coffee, and we took a trip to 2 state parks. We ended the night playing pool at a local dive bar. Sure, I was whooping your sexy ass again in another game, but before I sunk my last billiard in the corner pocket, I couldn't help but help you win, because the smile on your face is far more important to me than any game or prize. It's just far too beautiful. I finally bought the cutest guy at the bar a drink, and I am lucky enough to say he is all mine. When you went back home the next day, you texted me to check my hamper. You left your rainbow shirt behind so I can wear it every night and feel like you were holding me in your arms. It was a bold move to say the least, but one I've always dreamed a man would take, so it blew me away. And I've been wearing this shirt every night that we're apart as I go to sleep ever since then. The next day, you got your dream job, and I was proud as hell of you, and I still am, for your hard work. Every time I try to be a good boyfriend, you show me how much better you are. Because 3 days later, you got off work early and drove all the way down to see me, just to take me to dinner. The day after, you surprised me with flowers for the second time in our relationship, as we shared the best weekend of my life together. We went to a gay bar, watched tons of movies, and you took me on a trip to all of the places you've lived and worked. After a month with you, I've learned a few things. I've learned we can overcome any challenge together because we've already overcome so many obstacles others put in our way. I know our fights will be few and far between because we both believe in open communication and never keeping any secrets from the other. I've learned to always sleep on the side of the bed with a fan, otherwise you'll be plotting to have the wind go in my direction. But while I poke my fun, I'm glad we're already at the point in our relationship where we can fart in front of each other and no one really minds. So that's a sign of true love right there. I've learned that we fill in each other's blank spots. You teach me so much about medical situations, and I can help you build things. But for me, the best moments come when we're making breakfast or dinner together, and I realize how great of a team we are together. There are other moments when you're holding my paw, when I realize the rest of the world doesn't matter at all. Most importantly, I've learned that Jim and Pam were completely right. True love does exist. Sometimes you just have to wait a while to find it. And now I found it. I've learned that a true love will accept you for everything you are and not try to change you. True love will be there when the days get hard and will be there for you to cheer you on when you've accomplished great things. True love will call you on a ride home and send kisses and text messages. True love will take pictures of you when you're sleeping, and true love isn't afraid to show the world how excited you are to have each other. I've learned that when other boys look at us at the bar now, they're looking at my better half and looking at you. I've learned how to smile and laugh. I've learned how to be happy for the first time in my life thanks to you being by my side. But I've learned that I'm never going to deserve you, but I'm going to spend every day for the rest of my life trying. I have finally learned what the word love means, thanks to you, and I'm not afraid to say it. So this is me jumping headfirst, going all in on my bet, breaking down all of my walls and not holding back any longer. You have my heart now, and I never want it back. So happy 1 month anniversary, the first of many more anniversaries to come. Love, Maddie. Boop.